Hello world, it is Friday, April 16th, 2021, and this morning it's overcast. I don't think there's supposed to be any rain today. Excuse me. It's supposed to be getting a little nicer and temperatures close to the 60s, but typical, I think, of an April day in the Midwest. And the devotion today is entitled Not How I Imagined by John Edgerton. It's based on Psalm 4, verse 6 and 8, New Revised Standard Version. There are many who say, "Oh, that we might see some good. Let the light of your face shine on us, O Lord. I will both lie down and sleep in peace. For you alone, O Lord, make me lie down in safety." And John writes, "The night before my first COVID-19 vaccination, I could hardly sleep. I kept turning over in my mind all the ways that it might not happen. What if they asked for an employee ID? Our church doesn't have any employee IDs. For those keeping score at home, I brought my passport and my W-2, absolutely none of which was needed. When I arrived for my appointment at the hospital, I was directed to a basement-level auditorium. It's the kind of room normally used for mandatory work safety seminars where the attendees are alternately eyeing the boxed lunches or the exits. In my imagination, I would be awash with tears of gratitude and flowing praise like the psalmist. That meant health. This meant health instead of illness, hope instead of refusing to lift my eyes to any far horizon. After the shot, all I managed was a simple and slightly croaky thank you. For someone who makes a living with words, I sure wasn't very eloquent. I drove the 30 miles home in silence, thinking of those still waiting, anxiously refreshing vaccine appointment apps, hoping that they might see some good. None of this is simple. I didn't know what to do, but I knew that it was right to give thanks to the Lord. I slept like a rock that night, having remembered what it was like to lay down in safety. And the prayer. Thank you, O God. Sorry if that came out a little croaky. Amen. Well, I think I had similar emotions with my vaccination. Mine was actually filled with also some degree of guilt, because at the time I was relatively young compared to what the age group was that was normally being vaccinated. But because I am also a hospital employee, being an on-call chaplain, I fell into one of the first groups. Immediately after the doctors and the nurses, the rest of the hospital employees got their shot. And for me, getting the shot did relieve some angst and some fear that I had. And then this morning, as I was getting ready to do this, I was briefly looking through my emails, and I subscribed to the Washington Post. And I saw that there was another mass shooting again last night. 8 people dead in a FedEx facility. And in Indianapolis, not really that far from here. And it made me quite upset that we have yet another mass shooting. We seem to be able to organize ourselves and to implement something to help prevent the coronavirus pandemic, but we're frozen on doing anything to try to stop the violence around gun violence. And yes, it's a complicated mess. It is certainly involved in mental illness and the treatment thereof. So certainly there's issues of people having access to the help that they need, that they can afford. That certainly comes into play. But I also truly believe that gun control is part of it. There's nothing wrong with controlling, or something has to be done. And like I said, it's a complicated thing, and it's a multi-front thing that we have to approach. It's not like the virus in that sense. In the virus, we knew what needed to be done, although there are multiple vaccines of attacking it, and multiple ways of preventing people from getting sick. And in a way, gun violence is the same thing. We need to do something. So I think it's important that we do more than give thoughts and prayers, but take action and policy to reduce how often this happens, because it is a pandemic. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a safe day. I hope if you've not been vaccinated against the pandemic, you will be soon if you can. I know not everyone can. And I hope you take some action to begin something to stop the pandemic of violence that seems to rule our country and our culture. And I'll try to talk to you again tomorrow.